Assalamualaikum. Today we would like to present about the similarities between wadi'ah in books and wadi'ah in the standard. Okay, first the similarities and the difference. Okay, first I would like to present about the similarities. In books, the similarity in books and standards, they have mentioned two types of wadi'ah, which is domanah and amanah. And then they also mention about the method which is joint depositors and joint depositories. Okay, they both have mentioned about the offer and acceptance between both of the parties. Okay, and then the condition applied in the deposited object, which is first is permissibles and on the asset. Okay, and then the last one is the similarities, the same of the termination condition. Okay. Okay. Next, we will move to the difference of wadi'ah in books and standard. Okay. The first one is the terms used to mention contracting parties in books is called depositors and depositories, but in standard we call it depositors and custodian. Okay. Next, the difference in books, the deposit must be owned by the. They mention that the deposit must be owned by the depositors, but in standard, the deposit may not have be owned by the depositors, but must have the permission of the depositors. Okay. Next, the difference is the in standard, they mention that the custodian is entitled to get any profit from the depository that use the asset. Okay. In books, they do not mention about the profit that the depositories when the depositories use the asset, but they mention that if the depositories use the asset, the contract will be terminated. Okay, and then the last one is in standard, they mention about the usage of court, which the usage of court. Okay, in the books they do not mention about the usage of court. Court is a contract of lending a tangible asset to a party who will benefit from it and who will subsequently return on equivalent replacement. Okay. They also mention about the court termination, which is they will terminate the court by the willing of both parties. Thank you.
Okay, now I will compare the wadi'ah standard with bank. We choose Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad as our division. So, first of all, this bank only talk about wadi'ah yak domanah as their base. So we will compare about wadi'ah yak domanah. First, the definition. The definition that standard state that wadi'ah yak domanah is a safekeeping contract where there is a permission to utilize the asset, and then the asset is placed in custody that granted by safekeeping depositor. So this contract will have a fee for the custodian to charge the service. Okay, then the bank state that the wadi'ah yak domanah is a safekeeping of goods or money with guarantee. There is a transaction between customer, which is depositor, and bank, which is bank as a custodian. So there are rules and regulation that state by bank for the company, for the customer to follow. And then the comparison is about customer with custodian. Standard state that the custodian can enter the contract through agent, but bank did not allow the custodian to enter the contract with agent, because when they want to open the account, wadi'ah account, they must go to bank themselves to open the account. Okay, so next, for the contracting parties, standard state that for the contracting parties must have legal capacity, which means that they must sell and post sound mind. It means the contracting parties must know how this contract will be harmful for them or beneficial for them. Okay, but standards state that the contracting parties must subject to the bank requirement or age requirement or minimum initial deposit. Minimum initial deposit will follow the type of account that they want to open, and then they must bring the reference and supporting documents that acceptable for the bank. Okay, that is the difference for the bank and standard. And next, we will go to the similarity for this two. We found that there is one similarity between standard and bank, which is the asset or the deposit that they want to put in this contract must be principal to the Sharia compliance. Okay, and that's all for the comparison between wadi'ah standard and bank muamalat Malaysia Berhad.
Okay, next I will discuss about wadi'ah yadamana between product which is bank muamalat, and between the book. Okay, first I will discuss about the definition. The definition of product is safekeeping with guarantee of the goods or money, and we return the same to the depositor, while the books, the depositee is responsible to return its subject matter to the depositor whatsoever. In other words, the depositor guarantee the subject matter of wadi'ah and is under obligation to give it back to its rightful owner at any time. Okay, second, the types that used by the book and by the product. The book, when we learn in the book, we learn about wadi'ah yad amanah and wadi'ah yad dhamanah. But in the product, which is bank muamalat, they are using wadi'ah yad dhamanah only. Okay. Wadi'ah yad dhamanah is a safekeeping contract whereby the owner which is depositor of the goods is the money, appointing the custodian which is the bank to safekeep his or her good. Okay. And lastly, for the dissolution between book and product, the book said a deposit is terminated by one of 5 events. First, return of the deposit to the depositor, whether the latter requests it or not. This follows from the fact that the deposit contract is not binding, and thus the deposit return terminate the contract. Second, deeds of the depositor or the depository terminates the contract. Third, if either depositors or depository falls into a long-term coma or become insane. Fourth, if legal restrictions are imposed on the depositor due to mental incompetence or bankruptcy. Fifth, if the depositors transfer ownership of the deposit to another.